Hello, and welcome to another live stream, Skeleton Crew, episode 3. Wow, wow. This episode and this series so far is like making me want more and so many questions. I wrote down so many notes. And not only did I write down notes, but I got a special guest. Let me go ahead and bring in that special guest right now. Add it to the stage. Hello, my special
Hey,
guest. How you doing today, Patrick?
very good, Ricky. Thanks for having me, man.
Man, I know you messaged me, and I know you've been so excited about this show.
Loving it.
And I know you said, hey, when you on live for episode 3, I want to join. Let's talk about it. But so far, what have you thought of this episode and then the first 3 episodes? Like, what do you think about it so far?
I'm enjoying the ride. Okay. I think one, it's Star Wars. It's in a timeline that's connecting to all the other pieces. Tonight, we found out a little bit more, which we'll get into later, which just kind of gives us an idea of where at Adden was in the timeline, inhabited and why it's hidden. I think the idea of pirates in Star Wars and treasure, all awesome. It definitely has that Amblin feel that as kids that we loved. Like I am a you my go-to movie with the family on a rainy day, Goonies. So
Yes.
it's a go-to, right? Like we love it. E.T. has been another favorite, and we get that vibe throughout this series. And it's cool to kind of pull that nostalgia in and that kind of adventure through the kids in the Star Wars universe. Literally planting, I feel like I'm Jod or one of the kids on this adventure with them because I have no idea what's going to happen next. So I'm just as amazed and surprised that what they're learning, we're learning, right? Like they don't know anything about the planet except that's what they do. Their parents do these menial jobs they don't know much about. So I'm in. I'm in. I'm all my credits in.
Definitely. And the thing is, immediately connection. So maybe it could be, my age, your age, and the movies that we've seen and the shows we grew up with. But that's one thing that gets me is whenever I could connect to someone in the show, either the main character or someone like some those kids remind me of me. Neil, I love so much reminds me of me. Like I remember me hanging around with my cousins, and like they would do things and I'll be the one of the voice of reason, the chubby kid, like, are we sure we should be doing this? Are we gonna get in trouble? Like I don't want to get grounded for this. And then him just being clumsy. I remember when I was younger, I was always clumsy, falling down on the floor, getting scars on my knees. And it's just again, and that's what I connect with, and that's why I love Neo so much. So I think that's one of the things that make a show successful when people are able to connect with some of the characters or some of the experience or things that are going on. And it's just, man, like my girlfriend is literally sitting down here with me watching the show, and right when it ends, she goes, "Oh man, now we gotta wait till next Tuesday."
Right?
That tells you that they got something. And again, that's you could nitpick all you want. It's not gonna be a perfect show because at the end of the day, the perfect show is someone's opinion.
Correct.
Okay,
I agree with you.
but there is gonna be shows that people agree that are good, and it feels so good to know that no one is saying anything bad about the show.
For a
And
change, right?
yeah,
That's
for a
refreshing
change.
as a fan, I think, that we can all talk without any discourse or we could just and I think this is what honestly Star Wars needed, that kind of shot in the arm. We all
Mhm.
just needed just to enjoy Star Wars, enjoy the ride, enjoy adventure, enjoy not knowing all the pieces of what we're watching. And that's exactly what we've been getting, and they've delivered. And I'm excited. Like you said, like my wife and I were watching, like now my 16-year-old, 17-year-old daughter is like, she's She doesn't want to watch children. She liked the Acolyte, loved the Acolyte. Isn't I think that for her, because of her age, she
Mhm.
doesn't want to watch. I don't want to watch another Goonies like movie. Okay, that's fine. That's not her Star Wars, but I'm enjoying it. I
Oh
think many
yeah,
families probably are.
so we got some people in the chat. We got Chris, love it.
Hey,
Chris gives it an 8 out of 10. Hey, speaking about, I remember Chris every time I was on live after Acolyte was giving low scores. So, and Chris is a tough critic. To give it 8 out of 10, that means the show must be doing something good. We got Andrea. Hey, Ricky. Hey, Pay.
Pat.
Who's Pay?
It was like
Pat. Hey, you got a
maybe
nickname? You got Pay Pat? We got to pay you something? What's going on over here?
paid endorsement being here today.
Paid
Thank
endorsement. We got Chris. I'm so jawed. Laugh out loud.
I identify with Whim, like that
Yeah.
whimsical kid, always daydreaming, loves Star Wars, Jedi, playing with his action. That was all of us. Let's face it. That we all identify with that kid. And I think we all wish we could be a little more like Fern at times,
Mhm.
a little more forceful, a lot more cautious, like KB, let's think it this through, very calculated. And Neil too, kind of like, all right, I'm gonna go with it, like, because he's my bestie. If he's gonna fail
Yeah,
the test, I'll
yeah.
fail the test.
You
You know what
gotta
I
go
mean?
with
Like
you gotta go with the bestie.
they
My
all they're all. I think every character lends to something that we all connect with, and I think that's what makes the show cool.
Yeah, I mean, going back to episode one, I just love when Neil says, "You want me to fail? I'll fail too."
Right? Yeah, because he
Neil,
didn't want to be in this
no.
class without his buddy, right? So I thought that
Yeah.
was cool.
All right. So I got some of my notes again. For the 9 of you that are watching, again, this is going to be spoilers. So we're going to be talking about things that happen in the episode. So if you have not watched it or you watching this in the replay, please do justice and go watch the episode before watching this because we're going to, again, spoil some things. What happened. So my first thing I have that kind of stood out in the beginning when it opens up to all the parents and I can't remember Fern's mom's name, but she said something where when I was a kid, the safety droids will always find us. Like they will all sneak out. So that means she's been there for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
She's been in at Atten for a long time. So when she was a kid, they used to get in trouble and they try to escape and go out at night, and the safety droids will always find them. So that kind found us. So that kind of like led me like, how long have they been living there, and how old is that? And obviously they talked about the timeline later on, but that always something that stood out with me. What did you think about that scene and all the parents together?
I thought it was an interesting scene, Ricky, in the sense that we being parents, like that's our concern. I think the father was so just kind of like out of sorts, really.
Hmm.
Canatonic almost is what I was trying to the thought I was kind of the word I was looking for is canatonic, just locked in that in his own mind, probably replaying what he witnessed, his son leaving Starship, like and everything, his head's going a million miles. Where could he be? How's he gonna get back? How am I gonna fight? I worried as a parent. And you have that all from the other parents too, but he was just a little more disturbed. And I think it was more because of the way the droids were. Like,
Yes.
right? If you had some droid or say an administrator at your kid's school, and they're kind of like, well, we're gonna have to talk to the supervisor. They broke this rule riding a car, on the school property and took off. That's one thing.
Mm.
As a parent, I don't care about that. We'll deal with that repercussion. What I want is my child found. And I don't think the droid was putting the emphasis on that, more as I need to keep this all contained. And I
Mhm.
think that was kind of rubbing him the wrong way. In my opinion, that was the frustration, why he was so catatonic. He was in his head trying to think, because this is all going on around him. And he just seemed disconnected from that. And I don't know. I just felt maybe the droids and this supervisor, there's something about that. I'm telling you, there's something weird about
Yeah, I definitely think that if you notice in the first couple of episodes, he's all about work. I gotta go to work. Here's your food for the week. Don't do this, do that. It's all about working, working, working. And he's working for them, right? You think about he's working for like the government. He's doing his job. And then the moment where his son is lost, these kids are lost and they're kind of like just following protocol. It's like, wait, where are we at? Are these people even care about us? I've been
Yeah,
busting my butt all these years. Now he's not only thinking about where his kid is and how they escape, but now he's thinking about who do I work for? What type of government do we have? What is our planet? Why are they not letting us leave? Where are we
yeah, I'm
at?
doing the great work, and the great work
Mhm.
needs to go find our kids. That is the great work in his opinion, right?
Yeah,
Having generational, growth and surviving and continuing. So I think he's got concerns as a parent, and he's just annoyed at that kind of rigmarole, red tape you get, and he's dealing with a droid, no less. It's not even a human. Like, think about it. When you and I, if we had to go speak to a principal and they saw our reaction, or a law enforcement, anybody, right? And they saw our reaction as a parent, they would probably react differently than you just telling a stone-faced droid that has no emotion. So that only raises the bar and frustration as for the parent, for Wim's dad.
definitely. And then another thing that stood out is out of their jurisdictions to no help to find the kids. So it's like jurisdiction, like, so then are we trapped too? So you like as him as a parent, it's like my kid is lost and their ship escaped their planet, but then now I can't do anything, so I'm stuck here, and you
Yeah,
can't
because
do
they
anything
can't
because
have.
we're
Did you
stuck
hear what
here.
they said? They can't have another. They
Yeah.
can't contact anybody because it would give up the location or secrecy of, like, they kind of said it. So, like, to the parents, no, kind of that it's hidden, or maybe not. Like, that's
No.
why I'm curious. Like, are we going to find out this is kind of like you saw Andor as a prisoner being put to
Mm.
work, and they're just doing work and they have a quota to make, but that's a prisoner. But imagine if you're a regular citizen and you think you're doing the good work of your republic or whatever, but interesting, we find out later about the other ones not being around anymore from that old republic, and it's the only one left. That to me sounds kind of like it was done purposely. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, I think that's what intrigues us more, because here the kids are trying to escape this boring place. Other people think it's got some lost treasure. So I don't know. I mean, again, I'm just along for the ride, and I love speculating, going to speculation town on all this, but I don't know.
Yeah, I like that now we got a couple of stories going on here. We got the kids now gotta find their way back home, but nobody knows they're home. Then you got Jod, Captain Silvo. What was the other one that they called
Oh,
him? A
Crimson Jack.
Crimson Jack. What's his story? And then you got at Atten and the citizens there. Are they gonna create an uprise and be like, what the hell is going on in this planet that we've been living in, that we thought it's perfect, suburban life, and now it's like, who's running this? Who are actually the bosses?
Yeah.
We need to find some answers. So we might be getting some more information. So it's like three different stories going on,
And I
which
thought it was
which I love it.
interesting, the character that we get introduced later, who they actually made a Funko for that just released.
Yeah.
Right? I thought that was interesting how they brought that character in, trying to find it. And I thought there's something about the logo on their bags, and somebody pointed out that it looks like the Sith symbol reversed, kind of thing. And
Mm.
if it meets halfway, that's the symbol you see on that backpack. So if it goes full way, it's the double triangle. And that
Yo.
theory is kinda interesting, because even Kim was trying to research that, which obviously was Old Republic. She was able to identify that. So it's connecting Old Republic to Star Wars. While she's talking, she says something about Alderaan, and they're like, "Alderaan?" It's like, "You missed the war?" Like, so, like, now it gave us time. It gave, like,
Mhm.
this episode didn't have a whole lot of craziness, but had a lot of little adventure. Like
Like the Easter eggs or little things on
we got
there.
chases, right? We got chases. We got more questions. We got a new planet, new characters. You know, the escape. We got reveals. I mean, this episode was chock full of stuff. Even though it wasn't like, oh my god, that was the
Yeah.
most epic. But there's so much.
It leaves us to what we're doing right now, and that's what I love about episodes like this is that it doesn't we just don't watch it and be like, oh, it was good, and then don't talk about it. It got us thinking now, and by tomorrow, the next couple of days, there's going to be so many videos, so many things of people predicting of what does this mean, and that's what a good episode is. So we got some other
Yeah.
people that join. We got Battle Packs official. What's going
Grr.
on? We got Padawan Pops. This is my favorite episode so far. All right,
Nice.
nice. We got Wizard Nerd 76. Damn good episode.
Yeah.
Yes. So do we think Jod told them the truth about he's like them? Hmm.
Maybe.
That was a good piece that he
I
was
think
like
that
them.
was a little piece of honesty. That
Yeah.
was a little piece of honesty.
For a second, I thought the owl lady was Sid from the Bad Batch, right? With the
I
little
did
claws?
too.
Yes, yes,
It
yes,
sounded
yes,
like it.
yes,
It sounded
yes.
like it, and then it kind of sounded like Maz, you know. So I wasn't sure.
Mm-hmm. I need Neil's hairstyle. Yeah. Yeah. I can already see it next year. A lot of people Halloween costumes, especially the kids. I swear, if I see a kid dressed up as Neil for Halloween, he's getting extra pieces of candy from me. 100%. All
I
right.
agree.
So from my other notes I have here, just something that kind of draw back to the force field blocking the door, and he was able to unscrew that out. Obviously, the red force field blocking, I thought of Phantom Menace. The blocking
Yep.
of the doors, or when you're playing any of the Jedi, what is it called? Fallen Order, all those doors that are red that you can't even get through because you have to do certain things. So that was pretty cool. Biggest thing that I got in the beginning, the kids still don't trust them. So that was so good. The only kid that really wanted to believe him was just Wim. The other kids they could just sense it, smell it, look at him. This guy is not telling the truth. And that's one thing I always notice about that age of kids. They even though we think kids are kids, they could sense judgment. They have good judgment and they can sense when people are not so good and people are not good.
Yep.
So I felt that was pretty good that the kids didn't trust them. But again, Wim thinks he's a Jedi. What do you think about that scene?
I thought that was cool because like obviously he's like, well, I never said I was. I said I wasn't. Like, right. So that was funny, right? But then you feel for Wim. Wim wants that so bad, longs for that so bad. That the first inkling, and I loved how Fern was like, it could have been magnets, repulsors, like she was string, like
String.
she was throwing out she was trying to debunk that so good, and obviously he does have he knows how to use the force because even later when he was talking to KB and his motions to turn the lights
The
down,
lights,
like
yeah.
come on, like so I definitely think he's got power. I think the kind of spoiler that we kind of heard through um the casting of certain characters, I think we might get some backstory to Jod to really back up that he might have been telling the truth there to the kids. So I don't know. I want to see that play out before I totally go down that speculation path on that.
Mhm.
But I think that might lead to where he has Jedi abilities or knows how to use the Force at all.
Well, I mean, you think about it that he is lost, right? He says,
Yeah,
"I'm just like you. I'm lost." He could have been a force sensitive kid, but again, at that time, you cannot say anything that you have the force or you're a Jedi or who was his parents or maybe he did have a master in secrecy,
maybe
and
his mother taught him.
yeah, yeah,
And maybe he's kind of like because it's after like that Cal Kestis kind of,
Mhm.
time. So maybe he's kind of just on the, just trying to lay low, but maybe he can't lay low because he loves that sense of adventure. Like he kind of sees himself in Whim. He loves that sense of adventure. He loves being a captain because obviously he's a captain by several names, possibly. So,
Yeah.
you know,
And I like the
maybe,
Crimson. The Crimson name kind of stood out because obviously we know about the Crimson Dawn,
yeah.
right? But so the Crimson name, but
The Crimson
it
Jack kind
definitely.
of made me think of Jack Sparrow ish,
Oh yes.
a little callback to that. So cool. I'm down for it. I do think he was telling the truth though, and I do think that there's something he's got some ability, and he says like straight out, everybody has the ability to use the force. So the force is in everyone. So he's again reinforcing what we've been told over and over, every film, every show, every series, that that everyone's got that. So I do
Hmm.
like that, and I think that especially that line for the kids is good to have, because if you're a kid watching it, it's just like, oh, okay, it gets you excited.
Yeah, it's good. We got Ken collects Star Wars. I'm making the whole family dress up as Neo.
Oh, that would be dope.
That'd be awesome. Maybe his master was killed in Order 66 and now he's lost.
Could
This is
be.
true.
Yeah.
Could be. One thing I really appreciate is that we've seen 98 to 99% of the shots from the trailer. So it's a mystery of what's going to happen. Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because usually that's why I try to avoid. I don't know about you, Patrick, but I didn't want to watch too much of the trailers or any snippets of the show. I just knew kind of like the premise of the show, and I'm like, let me enjoy the show because the Acolyte did a good job of just releasing everything. It felt like everything we saw, just certain episodes. I think after five, we didn't know what was gonna happen, but usually we saw everything,
Mhm.
even to the speeders and all that stuff. But from this, we kind of saw very little, and I just went in. So that's good. We got SWA77. Hello, good evening. Thank you for
Hello.
joining the live chat. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
What else?
I thought it
Oh,
was
go ahead.
cool.
What else do I have here? So one thing I wrote here, so I guess KB got the Force too. So one of Tony's live stream, I think somebody put in a live chat like, what if the kids, what if Wim has the Force? And I wrote in a group chat, I think out of all the kids there, KB has is gonna probably be the one that's Force sensitive. And it's so
Oh,
funny that she was telling them, wait, and another person passes by, and then
see,
here goes Fern.
I didn't take that as force. It's because she's got that connector like Lobot, right?
Yeah.
She could notice the probe droid was making its round. She was
Yeah, but I love Fern.
impatient.
Fern is just a smart ass kid. Well, I guess KB got the force now.
I don't. I
Oh,
would love Wim to have the force. Honestly, I'd love Niels to have the force. But if Wim has it would kind of serve that character. And one thing that I noticed, did you see there was a little snippet of an interview that came out yesterday, today? And in it, I thought it was very, very poignant that the way they put this in the timeline and the way they've chosen the children is not just for what we're watching now, but this could be such a good story that these characters can expand in the future, like a Harry Potter.
mm.
So you've got kids that you can watch get older and either
Well, they
follow
said a
them
time
as they
jump,
get
right?
older, or maybe eventually recast as when they get a certain age, past a certain age. But that to me, I thought was really cool because think about it. When you saw Goonies, right? Have you been waiting for Goonies 2 for 30
Yeah,
some years,
and,
right? You've been
and
waiting for Goonies 2. So knowing that we can have this and then these characters, this might not be the end of that story. That to me is cool because what if your KB or Wim or any of these characters start to realize they have the force? Well, maybe we could see them in a future Jedi Academy or something. Who knows? But it just opens that story up for more. And I'm excited just for that little nuance. That to me is exciting.
and now thinking about it, right? So if you look at the groups, right? So you had the original, the OT. You had Luke, you had Han, Chewie, and you had Leia. It was that was that group. Then you had Obi-Wan, Padme, and Anakin. That was kind of like that group. And then you had Finn, you had Poe Dameron, and what's her name, Ray. That was
Mhm.
that group. So you got this group of kids, and I don't know if it was the same interview, but I know I've seen things where they said season two might have a time jump.
Oh,
So if you think about that, yeah, what if Wim does have the Force and becomes a Jedi? And then you have Neil, who's his companion, best friend, kind of like Chewie in a sense. And you got Fern, who could be the next person running his ship. She's the
she could be
captain.
like the next Leia,
Han Solo,
right? She could be a future general.
or it should be a general, yeah.
Super
And they
smart.
all get older, like you said, and now we have our new characters, new Star Wars, but we building it with this.
That would be absolute fire, Ricky. Like if they pull that off, holy shnikey.
Yeah,
That would
yeah,
be crazy. That would be Ricky. That would be like 20 years. Like, they could do that 10 years from now. Like
yeah.
have them be the big star of a prequel or a sequel or whatever you want to call it, trilogy. Oh my, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing. And
That
then
would
and since
be
we're invested in them right now as a young age, we know the stories, we know the characters, and as it build, we invested to that. So when they have us,
yeah,
hopefully,
kind of
let's
like
say,
Harry Potter, right? I
yeah,
watched
the kids
all the way, even when they split the last one into two. I was watching it hook, line, or sinker, because you did get invested with those kids, and right before our eyes, visually, we saw them age just like the characters you read about. So it made sense. So if they're taking that approach, Ricky, it's not just we'll get cameos from them in other Star Wars series and movies. If we get like where we could do a whole thing with them,
crazy,
that's
right?
crazy.
We got Wizard Nerd thought it was very interesting that Neil didn't know about
The
Galactic
Galactic
Civil
Civil War.
War when
Yeah.
Alderaan. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I thought that was a trip. That was a trip because he's like,
came up. Yeah.
Mr. War. Yeah, they've been hiding.
I gave the first two episodes a solid 8 or 9. For me, 4 or 5. This was 4 or 5. I really don't like the owl though. We won't see Maz sound like her. Yeah, I mean the owl. It was very interesting. I don't know if the owl is gonna come back. It would be funny to me that Funko decided to make a character for one episode. If this is the last we see of
For
Kim,
one and
was it
done.
yeah, one and done. But I can see where they added that character to explain more, to find out more. But yeah, it does sound like Maz. It's crazy. So what are you saying? There is a chance Neil will learn piano? He's the next Max Rebo.
He's
He's the next
when
Max
Max
Rebo.
finally bites it because he doesn't dodge an explosion, he's gonna fill right in.
And Chris is back. Hey, welcome back. That was great. He's gonna learn piano. Let's see. Uh, it was very interesting how the kids were all for SN33 Smee. They didn't want to leave Smee at
No,
all.
I was surprised that he went back for him.
Yeah,
I'll be honest, that shocked me. That again, I think the kids thought, Wim, I should
hmm
say, really thought that he was going back to get the droid because he wants to get them home, and he is a Jedi, like he's doing this on the goodness of his heart. We all know, probably more like Fern's intuition, he's only getting the droids and get to the planet to get to that treasure. Like
yeah,
that's his
exactly.
end game. But
But
the
yeah, I'm glad they got SM33 back. I just love this character, and I love how he kept on saying, "Yes, Jedi," or something like, "Yeah." He knows
yeah,
Smee knows you're not a Jedi, and that is crazy. As a droid himself knows that, yeah, you're lying, bro.
no, he
You're
didn't really
lying.
care for him because he's like, yeah, clean it up, droid. And he goes, smack that bowl down on the ground. Like, don't give me an order. But
Uh,
I do like, I hope somehow, if we get something with SM33, we got to get that little rat like as a pop out from the eye. Dude, that thing is
if
awesome.
you have
And Neil's
to.
feeding it later. I was laughing.
Well, I was kind of upset that because I actually have it right here next to me. I mean the Lego set, right? Where is it at? So these are all the minifigs characters. There's no Smee. There's no
There's no
SM33.
SM33.
I feel
Wow.
like they should have. He should have. I mean, it's the ship, so he is the droid of the ship. It should have been on here.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
a good
feel like that
call.
was a big kind of. I think I would have. It has Jod in there, and I guess
They'll probably
Jod
come out
obviously
with
is gonna.
another play set and have that as the exclusive for the play set.
Yeah, probably. One thing here that I thought was really, really awesome is when he's going to go save Smee and he turns on the battle droid. We got a
Oh,
freaking battle droid, and when he
did
turns
we
it on,
win?
it says, "Did we win?"
That just falls off.
That was freaking awesome. I was like,
I was
"Yes,
wondering though, that other one that was talking about the prince,
Prince."
was
Yeah,
that was that something from Clone Wars episodes?
it could be.
I think it
Now
might
that
have
you
been
think about
referencing the
it, there's
Clone
a
Wars
wasn't
episode,
there
but
a
I can't.
prince that Ahsoka kind of like
Oh, where
saved.
the Mandalorians went bounty hunting for him.
Yeah, so I don't know if
Maybe.
that's what I now I gotta watch that and see if
I want to hear what
that
that
ties
name
in.
was and put the captionings on and see if it says it, because I think
Yeah,
there's
but
something.
yeah, I
I
thought that was
guarantee
awesome.
that's got to be an Easter egg to something. Probably.
Yeah, and then that scene when they had the I don't know, it was the gas line on the ship and leaves and what is the guy's name? The new captain.
Oh, what is that? What was his
It begins
name?
with a B, right? Was it a B?
Brutus, Captain
Brutus,
Brutus.
Captain Brutus says, "Put a bounty on his head." And as soon as he said that, I was like, "Are we getting bounty hunters?
Dude,
Let's go, let's
Dengar,
go!"
Bosk, bring it.
Yes, yes. I was like, "Please!" I thought we were gonna see a bounty hunter in this
I
episode,
so
but
want to see a bounty. I thought maybe we would have seen one in those scenes when the kids are trying to sneak through
mhm.
and there's stuff going on. I was like keeping my eyes peeled to the screen,
Yeah, I definitely want to go back and watch it because it could just be me, and I could be wrong. I love watching those episodes like tomorrow when you see the people that 112 Easter eggs in the episode. There was a ship that looked like the Ghost. It looked
Oh,
like the Ghost ship. Now I know that ship is not that ship like the Millennium Falcon. There's many of them out there, right? We
mhm,
know as a Millennium Falcon, it's like having a Toyota Corolla. You don't have the only Toyota Corolla in the galaxy,
correct.
right? But from there was a scene when they sold all the ships. I could have swore I saw the Ghost in the midst of all that, but it
Oh,
could
that'd
just
be
be
cool.
me. I have to go back,
I didn't see
go
it. I always
slow.
look though. I always do look to see if I see anything. I didn't notice anything.
But I thought that was a great scene. I just love that scene right there. They're just gonna go to hyperspace. They're gonna hit. They're gonna punch it,
Oh, I
and it
loved
just
how that
destroyed
line
everything.
snapped back and started just messing everything up. Like the other boats are getting tugged by it. I mean, it was great.
Yeah, and again, it just I love those escapes when they make it just in time. They're like,
Oh,
come on, do it," because
The
they
cannon had him dead in the crosshairs, and
yes,
they just literally in the nick of time punched it, and then boom, that laser just went soared because it had nothing to hit. That was crazy.
oh man. Let's see. Ken says, I need two hot toys, one of Captain Brutus and
Ooh,
SM33.
could you
Ooh, and
imagine
SM.
either of those as hot toys?
Ooh. Yo, Brutus with the hair,
That
that's
blue
gonna
werewolf
be
look. Oh,
yeah, and then the double pistols.
and he's
Oh
and they're
man,
like old school flintlock looking kind of things too. Very pirate, like, dude. That's gonna look dope.
it is gonna.
Dope.
But SM33, and then if it has the rat,
Then you can put
that
the rat
has
in the eye because they'll do it. They'll do it as an option. That would be
I
cool.
think it is. Who is the X-wing pilot? Yes. So speaking about the X-wing pilot, what did you think about that? I was like, man, he said in the beginning, I don't trust her. We didn't know who Kim was at the time, but she called the X-wing pilot. But I thought we were gonna get what's his name?
Brutus and the pirates.
No, we were gonna get he's showed up in every single show. Carson Tiva. I thought
Oh,
he was gonna show up at that time, but I don't know who that person was
I
in
don't
the
I don't think,
X-wing.
yeah, it was just kind of a probably the script, but I honestly thought it was gonna be Carson too, but it kind of was. As much as I'd like to see him as an actor, I was kind of glad it wasn't, because that would have been
Mhm,
too easy. So that was cool. It wasn't. In my opinion, it was somebody different. But yeah, it seems like she is more on their side of the Republic.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
and I think what she was saying is, if I told at the very how it ended, if I told you, you're not going to believe it,
Exactly.
because that's kind of what Carson. Remember, Carson told that in Ahsoka. I can tell you, you're not going to believe it. And they're like space whales, you know, Jedi, what are you, Thrawn? What are you talking about? But like, it kind of had that heartbeat to it.
You know what would have been hilarious if it was like Dave Filoni as Chopper Wolf just shows up. That
I
would have
thought
been
it
pretty
would have been.
funny.
That's who I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be Filoni. I
I thought
really.
that would have been kind of hilarious. But yeah, I mean, I love the X-wings, but it was crazy to see the kids like having a good time. Like I tagged them first. I'm like, kids, you guys are shooting X-wing pilots. Like you're attacking the X-wing pilots, and I was like, you guys know what you're doing right now, but they're
They
just
didn't.
kids
As soon
having
as
a
they
good
got
time.
into the turret, they were shooting everywhere. Like they're. Oh, come on. And like what kid wouldn't do that, right? Like I've got
Yeah,
unlimited ammo and I'm of lasers and I can just start firing them at will. Hell yeah. Come on.
yeah.
You know
And
you would have
speaking
done it.
and give Neil to drive. Neil is hilarious. I mean, Neil to me is the comedic relief. Like even when they were trying to escape, he turns around to look at all the pirates, and John has to grab him back. Like,
It's,
come on,
come
come
on,
on,
come on.
come on. What's good?
He
But
kind of reminds me of like because again we're doing that trope of Goonies. He kind of reminds me of the chunk of the group,
yeah,
right? He is
yeah,
that comic relief, and he's just awesome looking. I think because he's so adorable, he's so adored already. He's like the Grogu of this show. He's a main attraction for sure.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I love this guy so much right here. This guy right here.
Hell yeah.
I love so much that I know they do $13 tattoos on Friday the 13th. If they have a Neil face for 13 bucks, I just might have to do that.
You're getting Neil tattooed to you.
Yes.
That's
What else
funny.
do I
The only thing
have
I
here?
was thinking of doing with Neil was doing a graphic. Um,
Mm.
I don't did you skateboard back in the day, Ricky?
I tried to.
Okay.
I know
You,
the
you
90s was
all
really
right.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Do you
got a
know
skateboard.
Pal Peralta, right?
Who?
The skateboard company Pal and Peralta, Pal Peralta,
Mm-mm.
Tony Hawk, all the big guys. There's a skateboarder that I actually knew from New Jersey, Mike Vallely. And I would skate with him every once in a while in Philly. My friends and I would meet up. One of my friends knew him, so we'd skate with him. And I actually had his board. His first board from Pal was like an elephant head with like this kind of safari kind of shield behind it. I want to see that graphic redone with Neil. That would be awesome. That would be
Yeah,
awesome.
I think right now Neil is gonna be everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. I know I ordered, spoiler alert for you guys because I was gonna try to save it. But I did order a Neil pillowcase from Rebel Scum Apparel. Oh, you got the pop, man. I've been trying to look for that pop. Look at that.
Oh yeah, he's
Cool
awesome.
uniform. Does it have anything in the back? A backpack or a
No, I
logo?
was hoping, but no, you know what? If you kind of see, there you go. See the logo on the
Oh,
coat,
the logo's right there. Nice.
but it's cool. They came out great. I really love this pop. I mean, what's really nice is this is something I thought when you saw
Let
the
me
older Grogu
let me go
pops.
ahead and switch it to this way. Let me see. There we go.
Yeah, the gradation with the pinks to the blue. Yeah, I think that skin tone they nailed on this because Grogu sometimes I thought they've had some issues sometimes where like the green was too light and then the pink didn't go well. This is perfect, like 100% just perfect gradation on that. I love it. They
Yeah, I think Tony picked it up today. I was trying to look for it. I went to GameStop. I went to Walmart. Just wanted to have Neil with me, but I still got my little guy right here.
he's
Let's
awesome. He's awesome.
let's see. We got some. Where would I left off? Back. Oh, Tiva. There we go. Carson Tiva. Oh shit. You know Mike?
Mike Vallely. Yeah, I remember.
Mike V is the shit.
Yeah, yeah. It's. I'm not friends with him. Like I call him up or anything. But yeah, as a kid in high school, that was my high school. I used to skateboard, Love Park all the time in Philadelphia, and met him. Used to do spike skates. Their street contests and stuff, and all their skate jams. That was my high school. That's what I did. As soon as I can get out, I'd head right down to Center City and start skating. So yeah, but that's funny. I'm glad someone else out there is a skateboarder too that kind of remembered Mike Vallely's board, because could you imagine Neil's head in place of the regular elephant? It would be so awesome. So awesome.
What else? Does anybody else in the chat have anything that maybe we have not talked about? I just know again, this is something that I probably most likely gonna rewatch again. I know I rewatched episode 1 and 2 again, and this is definitely just to look to see if I missed anything, but just
What about that whole
at
what
go
about
ahead.
that whole part about at Atten when Kim was doing that research and pointed out this was I don't know anything about this piece of lore, so I thought it was really cool. There were like 6 or 7 planets, and all of them were wiped out during the time of the Old Republic. So
Mhm.
whatever war happened then, I don't know if that was what they had against with the Nile or anything else. So I don't know. That to me still is kind of interesting. But I wonder too, because Palpatine is so calculator, and Palpatine is the puppet master of Star Wars. Like,
Mhm.
you can't get away from him, right? So we haven't gotten to the connection to the sequels yet, right? We're still coming out of this is post Return of the Jedi, right? So we're still kind of post Jedi, not quite New Order. My one thought is just like we had the whole New Order being created, and then there was the Sith Order created when the New Order was kind of failing, the Emperor again.
Mhm.
That guy has contingency on top of contingency on top of contingency plan. It would not surprise me if whether it was him or Plagueis worked something out back in the Old Republic time, had those all eradicated for this planet just to be doing their thing, kind of like Camino making clones when no one knew they were making them, right?
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
something. There's
Taking
something
to
about
just
it.
like Camino, making the clones.
There's
We
something about it. Like they think they're doing good and they're doing for the Republic. Do they know that like obviously they don't know anything about the Galactic War or none of that. So like to me, there's something shady, and I'm wondering who the supervisor is. You know what I mean? Like,
ooh,
could the
this is
supervisor be
it's
like
gonna
one
get
of
very
Palpatine's
interesting.
little? Could it be one of the other people we see on either side of Palpatine later when he just has his new empire, like the guy with the horns or the I can't remember her name. Like I keep thinking Seth, but it's not Seth. But the
Ball
bald
headed.
silver. You know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about? Could one of them be the? I don't know, but someone's supervising something. It can't just be another droid.
And I
So
wonder what do they bring to the table? What's in that planet? Because again, it's also considered like treasure. Think about the where did you get these new Republic credits? So they
mhm.
have, kind of like in a sense of, they had the best car and they took it from,
Maybe it's a net.
Mandalore.
Maybe that's natural resources that you can't find anywhere else. Maybe it has gold, Beskar, and
Hmm.
rare metals. Maybe it has. Who know, maybe it even has like we saw in the Acolyte. There's a not a disturbance, but what did they call it? Like something with the Force. There could be something a convergence in the Force there too. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, I
And
think Fern's mom is a villain. Hmm. Interesting.
she could be. I
Interesting.
think she might know something bigger too.
Yes, he might know, and now it might be like because you saw that she wanted to to set up a meeting to talk to somebody, and they're like, oh, they ain't nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like she's gonna be the one that has she's gonna be the one with Wim's dad that breaks in because she might have access to a lot of stuff that even Wim's dad doesn't even know.
Yeah.
Obviously, he just does his job. He goes to work,
He's a worker
provides
bee, right?
money.
Yep.
Yeah, he just constantly works. It's like a repeated. What was it? They talked about that Jim Carrey movie that he just goes to work and he is basically what is it? Jim Carrey? Did he?
Not Joe and the Volcano. That was
No, no. That he constantly works, but it's like a whole. It was all fake. It was all
Truman
filmed.
Show. Truman
Truman
Show.
Show. There we go. There we go. Truman Show. So kind of
This
like a
could be
Truman
very much
Show going
Truman
on.
Show to
Yeah.
them, right?
Hmm.
They're all working and they have no idea they're working for some. And at this point, if it is post Return of the Jedi, they don't even know that the Emperor is dead. So who's ever the supervisor might not be in communication, or maybe they are, because how do the other supplies get there? Like that's something I'm thinking. Like usually there's import export, right, from other worlds, other planets. This planet is self-sufficient, so maybe that is what the treasure of the planet is, so resource heavy that it's self-sufficient because they're not going out for anything,
No, they're not. Yeah,
right? It
they
can't
are not going. Then
prohibit.
there's nothing. Well, to we that we know of, there's nothing going in, and there's nothing escaping out. So it makes me think. Okay, is Moff Gideon a part of this?
Mhm.
Is Thrawn? Does Thrawn, even though at the time Thrawn was at Peridia and now he's back, but does he know about all the stuff that was
I don't know.
going
I
on?
doubt Thrawn knows about it, but you do bring up a good point. Maybe others do,
Hmm.
know about it.
Remember the Secret Council,
Yep.
the Secret
That Shadow
Council that
Council. Yep.
yeah, and the Shadow Council, and everybody would show up in their own like and I'm having a brain fart today. But the projector stuff,
Holograms. Yeah.
the holograph, yeah. So I mean, it could be somebody running that planet.
It could be. It could
Hmm.
be Hux's was the Hux's relative that was in
Oh
that
yeah,
show, right? It could be
that's
him
that's
running
true.
that planet for all we know. And maybe he's the person in charge. I have no idea, but I guarantee the first ship we see come or leave that planet, other than the kids, that's going to be our clue. Like that,
Yeah, that's gonna
I
be
keep
yep.
thinking I'm going to see an Imperial shuttle, right? And I'll be like,
Ooh,
I knew it all along, kind of thing. That's what I
we
think it will see.
we got Alex in here. What up,
What
Alex? What's
else?
up, guys? Did you catch the Mandalorian music at the beginning? Sounds like
No,
Grogu's melody. Wow, I did not catch that. Okay, now I have to play that again. Well, I will watch it again, but I did not catch that. Okay. Sometimes are they giving us some information? I don't know. Are they gonna run into Grogu and Mando?
it
I don't
could.
know. I so when we're going way back, so I want to say even during Star Wars Celebration last year, or even before that, I know they talked about Skeleton Crew. And the biggest thing they talked about these kids, they're lost out in the Star Wars galaxy in the same timeline with Mando. And there was two things that they talked about that it could have got scratched off, but they were supposed to run into Ahsoka and they were supposed to run into Mando and Grogu in the show. Kind of
The
like
skeleton
they're not
crew?
gonna be in the whole episode, but they will be part of one episode. Kind of like, oh, we need help, and maybe Mando helps them for one episode, and that's it.
Oh,
And supposedly, but that idea could have got scratched, and it was so long ago. So who knows? That potentially still might
it
happen.
could. I don't
Mhm,
necessarily need it. I think by having Vane in there, at least it connects me back to Mando because we saw him in that.
mhm.
Um, I'd rather hold out for something with Hondo in it. To be honest,
Oh, we definitely need
we need the
Hondo.
biggest space pirate of, Hondo, right? I do wonder if we're gonna get remember that other friend, and I say friend loosely of Hondo's, but he had the one horn that had been chopped off,
I'm trying to remember.
and then Ezra goes back and gets that piece of horn to return to
Oh
him.
yeah,
Remember?
yes.
I wonder if we can maybe see him,
Mm.
even like prior to like a Hondo, which to me, if we see that guy, come on. Come on, you got to
We
give it
definitely got
Hondo.
to see Hondo. Yeah,
But
I
I
mean,
wonder if that guy with the horn that got lopped off, if maybe we'll see him somehow as a kind of live action crossover.
and kind of like we're pulling the Leonardo DiCaprio that we know.
Yes, yes.
Oh man,
I again, Ricky, I'm excited like you are. It's been fun. The story's great. Like it hasn't like, oh, it's just boring or like snore. Fast forward. If anything, you want to rewind, right? I
yeah,
think that's a sign of a successful show. Is that you want to watch it again? Was there something you missed? You got to watch it to see, what other things could be because we're Star Wars fans and that's what we do.
yeah. So I mean, overall for me, I gotta give it a score. I wouldn't say. I think I was really excited more of for episode 1 and 2. This episode was good. Left us with a lot of little sprinkles, a lot of or what we say breadcrumbs to kind of like see if we could tie things to. I
Yeah,
give it an 8.
yeah.
8 out of 10. I think it was a good episode. It left me wanting more, and that's the key part. Like you said, it has us wanting. Like, is it Tuesday already? Is it Tuesday? And it's
I can't
crazy
believe
that
it's already over. That's how good it was. It was so good. We got like I was calling it out earlier on the Rebel Rewind with Chris and Aaron. I said I knew we'd get more intel on at Adden, so we got that. We got more pirates. We got an escape. We got some truths, some more
some lies.
identities. We got some truths, some more identities from Jude Law's character, um, and the and we're finding out more and more. And like you said, those breadcrumbs are leading me to something, and it's going to be something big.
it,
It's
it
awesome.
and that's what the thing is too. Is like they're no, they're knowing what they're doing. This is great writing, great directing. It's like we're getting new things, we're getting some action, we're getting some, kids, we got family in the show, we got some action, we got pirates, we got some lies, we got some truths, but there's something make leading it bigger and
The
bigger to the
timing
next
and
one.
pacing is
Yeah.
excellent. Like, I don't know if you watch Yellowstone, but last night was the penultimate episode before the series finale, and they wasted so much time. I'm like, I don't care about the horses and the cattling. I know that's a big part of the cowboy life, and I got it. A 30 seconds is more than I need of that. A couple clips montage together, boom, move on, because you've only got one episode after this. And I did not feel that in either of the 3 episodes I've seen so far. They've all been very evenly metered in the timing of action and adventure and thrill seeking. It's been just really nice the whole time. Like there's been, oh, what about this scene? Like when the pirates first boarded the ship, that was awesome. And then there's this, and then there's a takeoff. So we've gotten that kind of really like there's very little non-excitement in the show. It keeps you going. And then every one of them really ends on that really good what do you call it, cliffhanger, like
Mhm.
really good, like that, like the old school serials of the old school pirates, you know your Buck Rogers, all those kind of old Flash Gordon shows, the serials that it was originally based on. It really has you wanting to come back again, the way they end that, like it's very good. Very, they executed that whole idea of the pirates and sci-fi serials very well with the way they cliffhang every time.
I
And with
know,
like,
having us
just
wanting
really
more.
happened awesome. And you're like, oh, and it's like, all right, gotta wait the next week. You're like, oh my gosh, no.
So obviously we're gonna wrap it up, but we're gonna wrap it up with what do you think is gonna happen next episode? Where are they going? Where are they going? For me, if and I know a lot of people don't want Mando in the show, and it's gonna be hard because you can't have them go back to Navarro because the gentleman, I always call him Apollo Creed, but that's not his name. I
Grief.
always see him as
Guardia.
Apollo. Yeah, was it
Carl Weathers.
Car Weathers? But what's his name?
Grief
He's the
Guardia.
magistrate.
Yeah, the magistrate. Yep.
Magistrate. Yeah, and I know he gave Mando like land and a place to live with Grogu, and that's kind of like where season 3 ended. Spoiler alert: if you haven't watched Mando season 3, then why are you watching this? Go watch Mando season 3. That's the only way I could see them landing there and kind of searching the town of Navarro, asking for help. The kids run into Grogu. Grogu's like, I know somebody that can help you. My dad. And
That could be cool, but you do realize Navarro's run by the magistrate who used to run the guild, so there's probably a lot of bounty hunters
there's
walking around.
about bounty hunters.
You
Or,
know?
they could be run. I don't see them going to Tatooine.
No,
Um, but and that's another thing. They could be landing on a new planet that we don't know of, but you just hit it in the head. They ended with put a bounty on his head. So we have now bounty hunters are going to be looking for them. And do we see bounty hunters next episode?
I definitely think we're going to see a bounty hunter. 100% seeing a bounty hunter next week because
Oh,
you've got Brutus put a bounty on him. Kim's got got the like you looking how I got help with the Republic. So there's
hmm
a bounty. These kids are wanted, and so that even the rumor could get back to a Carson. Maybe we get a cameo of Carson Tiva as opposed to Mando, getting back to
hmm
him. Hey Mando, we got some kids lost. And he's like, yeah, I'm out on this one. I got a different mission. I don't know. You could have something like that. Like I'm out on this one. But who knows? Maybe he's like, I'm not going to help a bunch of lost kids. You know what I mean? Who knows?
I
But
mean,
the
the
fact that
only
there's
thing
bounty hunters,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, the fact that there's bounty hunters, just that. I'm like, yes.
This is just kind of like me, and I threw this out there because I think this was during our I called Avengers Assemble. It was like 9 of us on a podcast the Sunday before the debut of Skeleton Crew, and they were talking about special guests and who could appear. And I thought maybe Hera with Jason. Jason's a kid, just like them. Maybe
Mm,
Jason runs into them. Who knows? Jason can be part of the future with these kids, and if we're talking about future, if they ever do that, the
that'd
kids grow up and
be
become the
great,
future.
right? Him and Wim become best buds.
Or since Ezra, right, is back, he teaches Jason
That
just
has
like
to happen. That
that has to happen. And
has to.
yeah, so there's so many things, but definitely 100% I feel bounty hunter, bounty hunters, or bounty
Yeah,
hunter is
but what
showing up.
bounty? See, like Bosk would be a really cool, and we've seen Trandoshans, but like we've always wanted to see Bosk and come back.
Mhm.
I honestly would like to see Dengar too. Like he doesn't
Ooh, yes, Dengar, yeah.
we haven't really seen him since
Mm-mm.
that would be a really cool cut into my and we saw Forlom in Obi-Wan, right?
Yes, it's true.
So I don't really care to Zuckus. Yeah, I don't really care about
Oh,
Zuckus.
yeah, Zuckus
Even
became
though
a
I just got
pop,
his pop
became a
recently, but
pop, and that's it.
yeah, I excitement wise, I don't care about Zuckus as more as I would about I don't know. I just never thought there was enough story that we got with Dengar. He just looked cool.
Mhm.
I think he was a Boba Fett or something was at his wedding or something like that from the lore that I remember. I don't know.
I don't think Cad Bane is dead.
I don't, but I don't want to bring him back yet.
You know, when I bring him back?
No, because bringing him back in here, it's just going to get confusing with what happened. It's like if you bring him back, you got to bring him back somehow in Mando or another
And
Fett or
explain
some.
how he came back, yeah.
Yeah, they have to have something
Somehow
to that.
somehow Cad Bane's alive.
And we don't want,
He
and I
turned.
honestly don't want to waste any story time trying to retcon and make that fit. I'll be honest, I
Mm.
really don't care for that. Just keep that. Like, we don't need to have so many cameos, right? We know we're probably going to get a few, but like, I'd rather see the random bounty hunters than Mando. I'd rather see even Carson Teva would make more sense than just Mando. You know what I
That is
mean?
true. I
So
also brought up Fennec Shan.
yeah, Fennec. You know what? I almost thought that girl in episode 2 in front of the
Oh, yeah.
red light district club. I thought that might have been. I was like, is that Ming Na
No,
Wen? Like
Fennec.
I couldn't tell at first. I was like, is that her playing another
I
character?
mean, they can go, they could go with Fennec Shan for help, and say there's bounty hunters chasing us. We know that she was a bounty hunter, and maybe she does have a soft side for kids. So, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it will be very interesting. But obviously, definitely bounty hunters. Let's see, I got here.
How would you feel if you got the mod squad, the Skittle bikes making a
Oh
cameo?
no, come on, not the Power Rangers.
The Power Rangers.
Tracy, hey Pop, how are you guys doing tonight? It's been a while, man. I've been trying to get into the mod socials. That episode was fun. That cat owl though, haha. Yeah,
Nice.
it was weird. It was like an owl, but
I didn't
I don't
expect
know.
it to be as owl-like as it was.
Was yeah,
Like, I thought
it was
it was like an owl, a
definitely an
lemur.
alien creature, but it was like yeah, it was kind of weird,
It
but
threw me
that was
off. There's a lot of things that throw me off with this, like the suburbs, the walking a pet on a leash, the guardrails at the end of a dead end, of the street there, like the metal guardrail that you and I see outside of our homes, like going on the road. Those are the things that throw me out of Star Wars in this. Those are the few things, but I try not to let that get me hung up on.
Yeah, but overall, 8 out of 10. But shout outs to you guys being in here. We're already an hour and 2 minutes. I appreciate all you guys that joining live. Patrick, thank you so much.
Thank you. I was excited because, like I said, after the last time, like I was like, I just want to get out and talk Star Wars with one of you guys. So
No,
that's what I said. Like,
definitely.
if we could do this whenever if you're watching it and you're gonna do one after, let's just hop on.
Oh,
I'll join
definitely.
you.
I got you. The only one that's kind of tricky, I want to say, is Christmas. Well, Christmas Eve. Yeah, Christmas Eve might be tricky, and New Year's Eve might be tricky. So those 2 days, we might have to wait until like a couple days afterwards, and
That's
maybe we'll
fine.
just do a live and just talk about it.
Yeah, I know.
Because
I
obviously,
Christmas Eve, I got my just things here with the kids, and then I'm
Mhm.
on call that night anyway for work, which I don't expect. So if you are thinking of calling because you have an issue, don't.
you better, you better,
Because I'm watching Skeleton Crew that night, folks.
you better
Um,
not,
so
you better
yeah, if
not
you have
do
issues, you better report them before 9.
that.
Um, so yeah, and then I think my parents are gonna try to come up like the weekend after Christmas. They're gonna try to come up from Pennsylvania to visit with the kids. So yeah, I get you. And they'll probably be going out the door on New Year's Eve or whatnot, trying to beat the rush hour of New Year's Day driving. So
But it definitely, if I'm going live to talk about Skeleton Crew, you'll see Patrick there, barring if there's any issues. And if we are live and you see Patrick live, don't bother him. He's busy talking about Star Wars.
if we're live, there isn't there isn't anything else I care. If we're talking Star Wars, nothing else. Minus the kids missing a limb.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing I'm gonna
What's the
hold
thing they
on.
say now? But did you die? But did you die? No? All right.
Hey, plenty of people lose limbs in Star Wars.
Exactly. But thank you, Patrick. Thank you, guys. And I hope everybody has a good night. Again, I will obviously update this information and put Patrick's information. If you don't know about Patrick, I mean, if you don't know about Patrick, look at this artwork right here, guys. Look at this. This is beautiful right here. You got to check this man page. So I will be adding his page, his Instagram and YouTube to this. So if you don't know Patrick, please click on the link. Show the
Thanks,
man some
Ricky.
love because he deserves it, man.
Yeah, I've actually just started. You probably noticed the last few weekends. I found a group of people like me that shoot Star Wars
Yes,
Funko.
yes, yes, you did. Yes.
So it's been nice. We've been doing collabs. So like today was a lot back and forth. What ones we're doing next? So I'm excited. I'll give you a little spoiler, Ricky.
Oh,
You see, you
hey.
see something on the set there now.
Oh, I see it. Oh
So that's
my
coming
god.
down tonight. And so what I'm going to do is that is a shot that I got last night, and that was just playing around like last night before. I was playing around, and one thing led to another, and I captured an image. Like literally, I was just framing, trying to visualize it. And as I started, I was just like, I think I got it in 3 frames. I was like, that's the image. Like there is no, but I wasn't I didn't have like the time lapse going recording it
Ah,
because I wasn't expecting to just like that's
that's
the
it.
image. Like once I
Mhm.
saw it, I'm like, that's it. Like um, but I'm gonna show people how I can break that down and go for the next one for this Saturday. So I'm gonna give a hint. There will be snow and there will be a lightsaber. That's all I'll give.
Ooh, that's all you getting.
So
That's all you getting,
that's
folks.
coming up for this Saturday, and the group is very excited to have enough lightsaber glow that it'll look like Christmas lights when you see the collage. So the group's
Mm.
excited. The group's very excited. So
Well, excellent work, and shout out to you guys, and thank you, Patrick, for the sneak peek. You guys
thank
have a
you.
good night. Peace.